From Neville Goddard's 1954 lecture, Good Friday, Easter. Edited by Jan McKee. Now come closely with me, and let me take you into the garden of your own mind. Right now you imagine you are in a sick room of some wonderful hospital, a ward. You see the case history. You heard the verdict of the doctor, and the man, seemingly, is dying. What would save that man from such a verdict? What would save him? A state of health by which he would rise from that bed and become a normal, healthy person in this world. That would save him. Now look into your mind's eye and define carefully the solution. And Neville is telling you to do the same thing with any problem. What problem do you have? Well, look into your mind's eye. And what in your mind's eye would be the solution to your particular problem? And Neville teaches that when you see this solution, do you know what you're seeing? You are seeing Jesus, for Jesus means to save. So that state that would save that man from what he is the state of health. That is his Savior. And you bring this state alive by becoming aware of it, intensely aware of it. Right now, say for instance you take a lemon, it might seem shadowy, but as you start to penetrate it and make it come alive with the power of your imagination, you can imagine, how does this lemon feel in your hand? How does it feel when you squeeze it? What is its color? Its scent? What does it feel like to cut into this lemon with a knife? And how does it feel to squeeze this lemon in your mouth? For many people, they will find that they begin to salivate. These are spiritual sensations. And when we can learn to get intense and make it alive, they become our tangible realities. Now Neville tells the story of a friend of his named George. George was out of money, and George was really up against the wall. So as Neville was in the bathroom shaving, he thought of this man, and he imagined, I was speaking to my wife and I said to her, "Isn't it wonderful, the good news concerning George?" Then I allowed her, in my imagination, to say, "Yes, isn't it wonderful?" And Neville goes on to say how 3 hours later, he got a call from this friend. He got 2 amazing job offers. And then the next problem his friend had was, which one is the best one for me? So Neville took just 2 seconds, went back into imagination, and imagined hearing how George had taken the best one. And Neville knew George will call him in the near future and will reflect what Neville had imagined. Are you up against the wall for something? Are you in need of money? Or someone you know? Can you take 2 seconds, even while you're doing something mundane, like shaving as Neville did, or brushing your teeth, or washing the dishes, or raking the lawn or shoveling the snow, and bring yourself or another loved one in your mind's eye, your imagination, and hear what you would want to hear, and then let it go to have its own birth and repeating if need be. And also because we all are rooted in each other, helping ourselves helps others, and helping others helps ourselves. Just like when you go to bed at night, and you have a dream, you think everyone is separate from you, but when you wake up, it all dissolves into the true you. And so too, what we call reality, it will all dissolve back into the same vast eternal consciousness that fell asleep dreaming this dream of life. So whoever you come across in life, whatever their problem may be, just ask yourself, what would be the solution be? You have the power to grant it, to refine your imagining skills and develop your faith in knowing that the good you put out blesses you, and you don't have to raise one finger. But I will say, if you do feel inspired and something feels joyful, go ahead and do it. So whatever the problems of yourself or others, it is a matter of getting into the practice of raising yourself above the knowledge of the old story and putting yourself in the knowledge of the new story. As Neville puts it, lifting up the serpent in the wilderness, he shed the skin like a serpent. He dropped off the former story of his friend George and began to live on a higher level concerning George. And Neville also calls this dying. And Neville teaches when you do this as a way of life, you are learning to die daily, to die to the old and give birth to something new, better. So while you're here, until you know who you are, until you wake from this dream of life, die daily as in a mental transformation. Learn the art of dying. You learn the art of dying so that you learn the art of living. So as Neville puts it, if you have learned the art of dying, you have learned the art of living. For man is immortal and he must die endlessly. For life was a creative idea, and it will find itself only in changing form. If I do not change and grow and outgrow, and grow and outgrow, then I know nothing of the mystery of Easter, for Easter is really the greatest of all mysteries. It's when man awakens within himself from his birth at Bethlehem, and he awakens as God. That's the story of Easter, to awaken as God. And Easter is something you don't have to celebrate just once a year, but every day. In closing, Neville says, remember, Easter is the art of dying that you may live. And this reminds me of that wonderful poem of the death of Abdullah, and what he said at the end of it all. He appeared among all the mortals, and they were weeping and kissing his worn-out body. And he turned to them and said, I am not the thing you kiss. Cease your tears and let it lie. It was mine. It is not I. And now take whatever problem for yourself or another, and ask yourself, what is the solution? And now, becoming intensely aware, how would it feel if this solution was already a reality? And with that, let us go into the silence and imagine. Good.